You are here today because something deep inside you was meant to hear this message, and it did not come into your life by coincidence. There are certain moments in life when the heart becomes quiet, when everything slows down and doubt begins to settle softly within you. Yet somewhere far beneath all that uncertainty, in the hidden place where your soul already knows the truth, you have sensed the answer for a very long time. This is one of those powerful moments. What you are about to receive is not simply information or empty, comforting words. It is a direct, energetic response to the questions you have been silently sending into the universe for days, maybe even for weeks, during the quietest moments of your life. Today, you are coming face to face with the exact point where your deepest intuition finally connects with the reality your heart has been waiting for so long. I know you have experienced a connection that goes beyond reason and ordinary explanation. You have felt a magnetic attraction and an emotional bond with a certain person that cannot easily be explained with normal words. Sometimes, during your weakest nights, you convinced yourself that this was only an illusion, a fantasy created by loneliness, or simply a desperate wish formed by the heart. But today I need to tell you something with complete certainty and absolute clarity. This love you have been feeling, this electric energy that moves through your entire body whenever this person enters your thoughts, this strange feeling that you have somehow known them forever, is not imagination, not coincidence, and definitely not a story your mind invented to comfort itself. There have been clear and powerful signs appearing quietly throughout your life. Signs pointing toward a truth you may have been afraid to fully accept because of the fear of getting hurt. And today you will finally understand why this person truly carries real love for you. Even if their current actions seem confusing or distant, and why the doubts inside you will slowly begin to disappear once you recognize the undeniable truth already living inside your soul. It does not matter if lately you have felt heaviness inside your chest, or if this person has suddenly become quieter, colder, or emotionally distant. You must understand that this silence itself is part of the message. Even though it feels painful and deeply confusing right now, when the universe confirms a connection between two souls, it often speaks through feelings long before the mind can fully understand what is happening. That is exactly why you are still here listening to this message now. Because you needed confirmation that does not come from ordinary human words, but from something vibrating on the exact same frequency as your spirit. So many times we try desperately to explain emotions that were never meant to be solved by logic. Some feelings are only meant to be experienced through a higher awareness. What you are feeling right now is not madness, it is not anxiety, and it is not some unhealthy attachment like you have sometimes feared during moments of confusion. What you are experiencing is the exact process that often happens when someone is meant to encounter a love that exists far beyond the ordinary. A love that moves beyond surface-level relationships and reaches directly into the soul. You are now witnessing the beginning of a profound recognition between two souls that chose each other long before this physical life ever began. Long before you became aware of this connection, something deeper already existed between you. And there is something important the universe wants you to truly understand today. Your doubts were never created because this person lacks love for you. Your doubts were created by old wounds inside you that never fully healed. When somebody carrying genuine love enters your life with an energy powerful enough to shake your emotional balance, with eyes that seem to look directly into your soul without even touching you, old pain rises to the surface. Your inner defenses immediately react to what feels unfamiliar. The soul recognizes the other person instantly. It feels like meeting its mirror, someone essential for growth and transformation. But the human mind, trained by past disappointments to protect itself from pain, begins building walls of fear, denial, and uncertainty. That is why you have spent so many nights lying awake asking yourself whether this love is actually real, whether the other person feels the same intensity, or whether you are losing your mind by believing so deeply in something you cannot fully explain. And still the same cycle continues repeating itself over and over again. Every time you attempt to walk away, every time you decide to shut your heart, ignore the feelings, block the connection, and forget everything completely, something unseen yet incredibly powerful keeps pulling you back. This force that refuses to let you leave entirely is not weakness. It is not emotional dependency. It is not wounded pride or stubborn hope. It is the shared vibration between two souls that the universe quietly aligned without needing permission, without needing logic, and without needing explanation. You have searched for signs countless times. You have looked toward the sky. You have closed your eyes hoping the universe would finally give you confirmation. And even though many signs appeared around you, they often felt too small or too subtle to fully trust. But today, you are beginning to realize that every tiny detail carried meaning. That glance that quickly turned away only because it became too revealing. That simple message that looked casual on the surface, but secretly carried deeper emotion underneath. The way your energy completely shifts whenever this person is physically near you, or even when their name enters your thoughts. True love, born from a spiritual bond, does not always reveal itself first through dramatic confessions or huge gestures. Very often, especially in the beginning, it speaks through silence, a silence heavier and more meaningful than the words, "I love you." It reveals itself through awkward actions, nervous behavior, quiet care, and small moments that appear insignificant on the outside, but secretly hold enormous emotional devotion that has not yet found the courage to speak openly. Today, life wants you to understand something very clearly. This person is not confused about their feelings for you. The person who has been uncertain is you, not because you are weak, but because this love entered your life during a period when you were still learning how to stand firmly within yourself. And the intensity of this connection frightened you. When someone carrying the energy of real love enters your world, they do not arrive to destroy you. They arrive to awaken you, to heal the hidden parts of you, to turn your attention inward, to challenge the old limits you once believed about love, relationships, and emotional connection. And this transformation inside you can feel terrifying at times. But you must understand something important. This fear is not being created by a lack of love. It is being created by the overwhelming power of what is entering your life. This person looks at you, even from a distance, with a kindness they struggle to completely hide. There is a natural respect in the way they observe you. There is softness in their energy that only appears when the heart has already chosen someone silently. I know there were moments, maybe even recently, when you truly believed this person was leaving forever. You thought their silence meant they no longer cared. You believed their distance was proof that the connection was slowly disappearing. But the universe did not guide you toward this moment simply to give you another unfinished story or another painful wound to carry. When a connection is guided by something higher, it does not collapse because of temporary confusion, fear, silence, or human uncertainty. What is truly meant to exist will continue holding on even during emotional storms, even during unanswered messages, even during periods where doubt completely clouds the human mind. So why does everything feel so chaotic if this connection is truly real? Because real love does not enter your life to keep you comfortable and unchanged. It enters your life to transform you, to break illusions, to teach patience, to strengthen trust, to awaken faith in things that cannot yet be fully seen with human eyes. This chaos is actually evidence of growth. It is a sign that something old inside you is finally collapsing, so something genuine and lasting can rise in its place. And one day, when the silence finally breaks and the emotional distance disappears, you will look back on this painful season and realize that every moment of uncertainty was quietly shaping you for the depth of love you were always meant to receive. The answer you have been searching for does not exist somewhere outside of you. It exists within the quiet battle now unfolding between your logical mind and the deepest truth of your soul. Because deep inside, beneath every fear, beneath every doubt, beneath every attempt to convince yourself otherwise, your soul already knows. It has always known. That is why, no matter how hard you tried to disconnect emotionally, something inside you continued holding on. That is why certain songs suddenly reminded you of this person without warning. That is why your intuition kept whispering their name during quiet moments when the world around you became silent. The connection was never ordinary, and ordinary connections do not create this level of emotional awakening. You were never imagining the energy between you. You were simply feeling something deeper than the mind was prepared to explain. Sometimes the soul recognizes truth long before reality catches up to it physically. Sometimes love begins invisibly before it fully manifests in the visible world. And that waiting period can feel unbearable. But there is purpose even inside the waiting. Because while you believed nothing was happening, both souls were transforming separately in ways neither of you could fully see yet. Pain was teaching lessons, distance was revealing emotions, silence was uncovering hidden truths. The universe was not separating you to punish you. It was preparing both of you emotionally for a connection strong enough to survive beyond temporary fear and confusion. You may not fully understand everything today. You may still carry questions tonight after hearing these words, but something inside your heart already feels calmer because truth always creates recognition within the soul. And the truth is simple. You are not crazy for feeling this deeply. You are not foolish for believing in this connection, and you are not alone in what your heart has been experiencing. This person feels far more than they have been able to express openly. Their silence has never been empty. Their distance has never meant absence of feeling. In many ways, they have been struggling with emotions just as intense and overwhelming as your own. Some people withdraw not because they do not care, but because the depth of what they feel scares them beyond explanation. Not everyone knows how to handle a connection that touches the soul this deeply, but real energy never disappears. Real love does not vanish simply because fear temporarily blocks expression. And what is spiritually aligned continues finding its way back together no matter how many times the human mind tries to resist it. If you are ready to receive this deeper understanding, then listen with an open heart and a quiet mind. The reason you feel so confused, even while your soul already seems to recognize the truth, comes from the oldest battle within human nature, the constant tension between the fearful voice of the ego and the limitless wisdom of your higher self. This confusion, this emotional chaos that sometimes makes you question your own feelings and wonder if you are imagining everything, happens because your mind is trying to understand something it cannot fully control, explain, or predict. And yet, despite every doubt, despite every fear and every unanswered question, something inside you continues to recognize this bond, continues to feel it, continues to return to the same truth over and over again. Something that no longer fits inside the old ideas about love that you once carried for so many years. Your ego is the part of you shaped by fear, old pain, disappointment, and emotional self-protection. It follows one basic rule above all else, to keep you safe from anything that could hurt you again. The moment this connection entered your life, your ego saw it as a threat almost instantly. Why? Because real love, the kind that comes directly from the soul, asks you to open fully, to become emotionally vulnerable, and to surrender without hiding behind control, expectations, or fear. And your ego, still carrying the marks of old emotional wounds, immediately begins shouting warnings inside your mind. Be careful. This feels too perfect. This will end painfully. Protect yourself before it is too late. Run before you lose yourself. From this moment onward, you must learn how to recognize the difference between these two voices, the loud, restless noise of the ego and the calm, steady whisper of intuition. The doubts created by the ego always feel urgent, fearful, and emotionally exhausting. They appear as tension in your stomach, as anxiety in your chest, as the constant need to check your phone again and again, searching for reassurance so you can finally feel safe. The ego says, if they do not text you right now, then they no longer care. If they do not say exactly what you hoped to hear, then they must be drifting away from you. This energy feels heavy, draining, and emotionally consuming over time. But the voice of your intuition, the wisdom carried by your soul, feels completely different. It feels like a deep inner calm, a quiet knowing that remains present even while fear tries to enter your mind. Even when your thoughts tell you this person is gone forever, there is still something peaceful inside your chest, softly whispering that everything is unfolding exactly the way it is meant to unfold. Trust the timing. Trust the process. This calmness beneath all the emotional storms is one of the clearest signs that what you feel is real and connected to your highest path. When you experience this peace, you slowly begin to understand that you are not fooling yourself or creating fantasies. You are touching something genuine, something deeper than ordinary attraction. This inner conflict is exactly what has made you question whether the connection itself is real. Look honestly at your emotional history. If you were betrayed, abandoned, ignored, or emotionally hurt in the past, then your ego will automatically project that old pain into your present situation. It believes that even this person, no matter how strong or pure the connection feels, will eventually hurt you the same way others once did. So in reality, you are not truly doubting their love. You are doubting your own ability to experience a love this deep without falling apart emotionally. And that is precisely the lesson standing before you now. The universe placed this connection in your life for a reason. This powerful pull exists so you can finally confront your deepest fears face to face. What you are feeling is not here only to bring romance into your life. It has arrived to push you beyond your comfort zone, to shake the limits you once placed upon yourself, and to force you to question everything you once believed about love, attachment, and your own worth. This connection is here to raise your awareness higher than before, to teach you that you no longer need to beg for tiny pieces of affection or settle for half-hearted love. Instead, you are learning how to receive the fullness and depth your soul has always deserved. Every single time your ego tries to sabotage this connection, it is actually revealing another wound inside you that still needs healing. When fear rises, when doubt suddenly appears, it does not automatically mean the love is disappearing. It often means an old emotional wound is resurfacing so it can finally be released forever. If you panic, you give more power to that fear. But if you stay calm and recognize it for what it truly is, you slowly remove its control over you. This connection acts like a powerful light shining into every hidden part of your emotional world, clearing heavy energy and preparing you to receive something greater. And remember this clearly. No matter how hard you try to walk away, no matter how many times you force yourself to let go completely, something deep inside you continues pulling you back toward this person. This force is not weakness. It is not obsession. It is the shared vibration between two souls who were meant to cross paths in this lifetime. It becomes so powerful that even when you try to silence it with logic or fight against it through fear and ego, it still remains there, like an invisible magnet constantly reminding you of home. But even after understanding all of this, one question still remains inside your heart. If the souls recognize each other so clearly, if this bond feels so powerful, then why does the other person sometimes appear distant, silent, or emotionally unavailable? The answer exists within the deep, energetic reaction that happens when two intense souls meet each other. This is what many people describe as the twin flame dance. You must understand that this person is not simply a romantic partner. They are your greatest mirror. Their arrival awakened every hidden wound inside you that still needed healing. And just as this connection shook you deeply, it also shook them. This bond is so deep, so emotionally pure, that it touches the most sensitive parts of unresolved pain. For the human mind that constantly seeks control and emotional safety, this can feel terrifying. So their distance is not always rejection. Often it is emotional self-protection from the intensity your presence awakens within them. In this connection, people often speak about the runner and the chaser dynamic. The runner, usually the person you love, is not truly running away from you. They are running from themselves and from the overwhelming depth of emotions they feel inside. They pull away because the intensity scares them. Fear of not being enough, fear of ruining something precious, fear of losing their identity or emotional control, fear of completely surrendering to a love that feels bigger than anything they have experienced before. These fears are often created by old emotional wounds, wounds formed through abandonment, heartbreak, disappointment, or rejection in the past. Wounds that once made them silently promise themselves they would never again fall into a love capable of breaking them emotionally. That is why the silence you experience is not necessarily proof that they do not care. Sometimes it is simply a pause, a moment where they are trying to organize the emotional storm your presence awakened inside their heart. Your role is often the chaser, even if only energetically. The moment you feel distance, your ego immediately panics. You feel the urge to reach out constantly, to explain your feelings, to fix everything, to prove your love, and to force clarity into the situation. But this cycle of running and chasing only increases the distance between you, almost like an invisible force pulling both souls further apart. The more you chase, the stronger the other person feels the need to run. And here, one of the deepest spiritual laws finally reveals itself: the law of letting go in order to draw closer.